Finally, after more than 6 decades of never-ending instability, chaos, sanctions, and horrific wars that all started as the West and Soviet Union clashed in their Cold War, Afghanistan is beginning to establish a real economy and infrastructure on its own and with international aid. For much of the past 5.5 decades, most Afghans were extremely poor, and the country did not even have paved roads, clean drinking water, irrigation networks for farming, electricity, internet, industries, and pretty much everything else that most countries around the world had and were developing. Right now, the Afghan government is highly focused on mega projects that can positively affect the lives of the entire population, while creating as many short and long-term jobs with better wages as possible. Because the country's main problem is that everything is available, but more than 60% of households can barely buy food because they are either unemployed or do not make real money. Let's now take a look at some of the top Afghan megaprojects. In 2008, it became apparent that the Afghan capital, Kabul, was crumbling, even though it is perhaps the only decent and developed city in the whole country. The city had a population of 700,000 in the mid-1980s, but the US invasion of the country in 2001 and the following 20 years of chaos and unrest led more than 3 million internal refugees to relocate to Kabul, which rendered it almost uninhabitable due to overcrowdedness and stress on infrastructure. Even though the Kabul New City project was launched in 2008 with an estimated cost of $15 billion, it was never implemented. However, the good news is that as of 2023, the Afghan government finalized the blueprint of the new city and began to distribute land to tens of thousands of families. Water, electricity, sewage, and roadworks are under construction, but the funds are low. However, the government signed a deal in August 2023 with the Qosh Construction Company to establish housing and related infrastructure for 3 million people. The 40,000-hectare site of Kabul New City is situated in the northern part of Kabul. The city is being built in the Desabs district and would also include some areas from Shakardara, Karababag, Estalif, and Kalakan districts. Job creation will be huge, with some estimates showing about 1.2 million employment opportunities created both in the public and private sectors. The original design, which might be implemented, was prepared by the French firm Architecture Studio. The framework of this urban megaproject is based on the core principles of sustainable development, including the preservation of natural resources and the supply of drinking water and energy, along with access to education and employment. As people begin moving into the new advanced and sustainable city, a rehabilitation project of downtown Kabul will also commence. The Afghan government has also opened the door for foreign private investments in this project via the Independent Board of Kabul New City Development, which is not controlled by the government and sanctions do not apply. The next project has to do with Afghanistan's central location between China, Iran, Pakistan, and Central Asian states. The Kraft-Herat railway project has been part of a proposed $2 billion five-nations railway corridor, which would run through Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and China. The total length is 2,000 kilometers, and the railway route runs from Herat to the Afghan-Tajik border. After crossing Tajikistan, it passes through Kyrgyzstan, where it will reach China's industrial region of Xinjiang via the China-Kyrgyzstan-Uzbekistan Railway. This railroad will also connect to India. In May 2023, Afghanistan and Iran completed the first trial run of the Kraft-Herat. The run consisted of a shipment that included 17 wagons that transferred 655 tons of railway equipment that will be used in the further construction of the rail line. The Kraft-Herat Railway is 225 kilometers long, with 140 kilometers of the railway track traversing Afghanistan and the remaining 85 kilometers running through Iran. Once this railway is completed and linked to other nations that are building their own sections, Afghanistan will benefit as it becomes a goods and commodities transportation hub, while also capitalizing on the railway by using it for speedy and safe export of its own products and commodities, which are currently exported exclusively by haul trucks. Our next project on the list is an inclusion project that is bound to help Afghanistan become a regional business and transportation hub in the next 2 decades. On May 6, 2023, the Afghan people celebrated some good news after Pakistan and China announced that Afghanistan would receive serious investments to make it able to fulfill its part as a member of China's economic belt, which includes railways and highways that extends from China to North Germany and other parts of Europe, and also to the Middle East and Africa. This belt also includes maritime gateways that extend to Australia and South America, and its main objective is to create a comprehensive global network of highways, railways, airports, and ports solely dedicated to eliminating bottlenecks and bridging missing links for the transportation of products and commodities fast while reducing shipping times and costs. A section of this global belt is called the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, which will now officially extend to Afghanistan. Afghanistan shares a 92-kilometer-long border with China through the narrow Wakhan Corridor, extending from Badakhshan to Xinjiang. For cash-starved Afghanistan, this means hundreds of millions of dollars of direct and indirect aid from China and other belt partners, and direct access to almost all Asian, European, African, and South American markets. What is really great about this inclusion plan is the fact that it helps Afghanistan become attractive for industrial activities and a destination for manufacturing and mining, since it boasts substantial amounts of mineral deposits. This leads us to the next project, which is bound to help Afghanistan to daily fill hundreds of train wagons with wheat, legumes, and produce for exports to regional markets including China and India, which combined boast more than 3 billion people. The Qosh-Tepa Canal will help Afghanistan achieve this goal. It is a 285 kilometers long, 152 meters wide, and 8.5 meters deep artificial river in northern Afghanistan that extends from the Amu Darya River, starting in the province of Balkh and passing through the provinces of Jazjan and Faryab. Approximately half of the canal has been completed, and the rest is being built at a rather fast pace due to an ongoing growing water and food shortages crisis in the north, among other areas. The canal is now bound to provide water to millions of Afghans while enabling thousands of farmers to return to agriculture. This will be achieved as 55,000 hectares of land are turned into farms with a great focus on grains and wheat. In fact, the country aims to become a wheat and produce exporter by 2028. If Afghanistan can complete this colossal canal and successfully achieve related irrigation and farming objectives, more than 1 million people will economically benefit, and the nation can begin exporting, thus generating much-needed income to cover the costs of other mega projects such as the Kabul New City. We did a special video about the Qosh-Tepa Canal, which is technically the longest artificial river in the world, so make sure to check it out. There are many other ongoing or planned mega projects in Afghanistan, and it is also a crucial partner in regional projects, such as the CASA 1000 Central Asia Electricity Project. It is also trying to build several hydropower dams that will end the droughts in many of its driest regions and prevent them from ever experiencing famine. Afghanistan has also long been known for its wealth of mineral resources. Experts estimate that it holds 60 million tons of copper, 2.2 billion tons of iron ore, 1.4 million tons of rare earth elements such as lanthanum, cerium, and neodymium, and loads of aluminum, gold, silver, zinc, mercury, and lithium. In August 2023, it signed more than $6.5 billion worth of mining contracts with local and foreign companies from China, Iran, Turkey, and Britain. It is also a major player and partner in the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India gas pipeline project, which is bound to enable it to obtain cheap gas for newly built gas-fired power stations that will end the misery of millions of Afghans who still do not have access to electricity. Do you think Afghanistan will overcome the harsh and cruel past it was forced to experience and progress toward economic stability and human rights improvements via mega projects? Let us know in the comments section, and please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thank you.